Hi guys, Victoria here. Welcome to my channel. Today's video is gonna be quite different from all the other videos that I have on my channel. I am going to react to a letter that I wrote to my 32-year-old self at 12 years old. This is completely legit. I have the letter here. It says on it you should open it on 18th of November 2022, which is today's date. This letter has not been opened in the past 20 years. I was 12 years old when at a class in school we had to write this letter. We had to write about how we imagine our life as a 30-something, what we have achieved by then, what is our family situation, what do we do for a living. I don't remember exactly the questions that we had to answer, but there were a few different topics that we had to incorporate in this letter that we wrote to ourselves, and I have kept this letter and I always knew that I really want to do this, to open it, and in today's video we are going to read it and react to what I thought my life would be today on 18th of November 2022. I think this is pretty cool. I should write a letter to my 20-year from now self about how I want my life be at that time. I don't remember much from what I wrote, except for that I believe by this time I thought I would be married to a man and have 2 kids. So that's what I thought at a 12-year-old, and I also think that I wrote down the name of my husband and the 2 kids. Maybe 1 kid. We'll see. I waited 20 years for this, so I'm very curious of what am I going to find. Let's find out. Okay. It's not too long, it's just a half a page. It's in Hungarian. And I wrote this on 18th of November 2002, so I was 12 years old at that time. First thing that I said is that I'm going to have a family, a husband and a child. So 1 child, I remembered incorrectly, 2. And my husband's name is going to be Levente. He is going to be an accountant. Okay, interesting. He's gonna be blonde. Oh yeah. He's gonna be taller than me. He's gonna be muscular, good-mannered, humorous, kind and honest. Wow, I was so mature when I wrote this. Then, about me, well, I started with my husband, it's so funny. I should have started with me. I am supposed to be a manager or a masseur or an interior decorator. Okay, these are quite accurate. At that time I was thinking of becoming a masseur. Later on I thought I was gonna become an interior decorator, and I even took some drawing classes, and well, I became a manager. We can say that I am a manager, managing events. So that is accurate. My appearance is I have long brown hair, the same as I had back then probably. Thin, which I'm, yes, still thin. Kind, well, to people that I like, I guess I'm kind, and if I'm in a good mood, I'm kind. I try my best, okay guys? Honest. So me and my husband both are supposed to be kind and honest, which is still accurate. And balanced. I said that I was going to be balanced. That is, I was so mature. That is awesome. If I have, okay, a child, I didn't really know if I was gonna have a boy or a girl, but I had 2 names. If I had a boy, he would be called Gergő. That is George, I believe, in English. And if it's a girl, she would have been called Ashley. And I don't think that you can actually give a name in Hungary, like Ashley as a name. Not sure. But I probably wanted Ashley because of Ashley and Mary-Kate Olsen. I really liked that name back then. I mean, I still do, but I probably wouldn't give it to my kid. Then, my family likes to go hiking to the beach and doing sports together. Okay, that's pretty good. I like that. I would still do that with my family if I had a family now, but I don't. So I am a single person living alone. I didn't say where I was supposed to live. Oh, there, it's coming. Wait for it. So the next one, it says, I'm gonna live in my hometown or in London, in a family house. Yeah, well, I live in Vienna and I live in an apartment. In our house, we were going to have a fireplace, a terrace, a pool, and a beautiful room for the kids. Well, that's one child at that time. It's gonna be a 2-storied house. It's gonna have a garden with a lot of beautiful plants. Okay, nice. I still dream of this, honestly. Yeah, this is still in the books for me, but not now at 32 years old, but later on in my life. I also wrote down, I don't know why I had to specify this, but there's not gonna be anyone else outside of ourselves, so me and my husband and our child, to live in this house. So maybe one of the questions was like, who are you going to live with? Maybe it was gonna be a more generation place where you live with the grandparents or something, but I already knew back then that I don't want to live with grandparents. So, or with parents of mine or my partners. We live in good financial conditions. Oh my god, that would be awesome. I'm supposed to have by now a holiday home at the seaside or in the mountains. And if I were to become a masseur, then I also have my own salon. Well, I don't want to have my own masseur salon at this moment, but I still wish to have a holiday home at the seaside for sure, or in the mountains. My hobby is doing sports, still is. Photography, kind of. I mean, it's not really a hobby of mine, not specifically, but making videos is, so it's very similar. And my hobby is going to be shopping. I wrote down, well, it's definitely not my hobby. I actually hate shopping, but things change. There are a lot of things which I like. I like my 12-year-old self. So, and then the last sentence is just that this is what I wish for, and let's see at my 32-year-old self, out of this, what will become reality? Well, my poor 12-year-old self, I gotta tell you that you don't have a family. I mean, you do have your parents and your brother, so that's still your family, obviously, and some extended family, but you don't have your husband and your child yet. You might never have. This is something that you don't know at this moment at 32. Maybe by 42 this will be clear, hopefully. You definitely don't have a husband named Levente, who is an accountant and who is blonde. And well, I became a manager, so that's fine. I mean, it was quite vague to say manager, so my current job, we could say I'm a manager. Or I used to be before when I had a job in an organization, when you have to define, is this an assistant, is this a coordinator, is this a manager, a head of a department. Then I had this title, but if you're thinking about vaguely, I still am managing things, so I guess that works. I still like interior decorating. I love watching YouTube videos of renovating houses and apartments and just redecorating things and DIYing, which maybe if I wrote down now a letter to myself, I would say by that time, like maybe in 20 years, I want to learn a lot of things, DIY, around the house, redecorating, painting walls, building maybe furniture. That would be a bit of an exaggeration, but just like fixing up things would be nice. I definitely don't have a child named Gergő or Ashley. I do like hiking, going to the beach and doing sports, but just with my friends, not with my husband and child, obviously. I don't live in any of the 2 cities that I wrote down that I will live in, but I'm in between the 2 options, I guess. In a way, like geographically definitely in between, and also size-wise. I still wish to have a family house at some point in my life with a fireplace, a terrace, maybe a pool. That's not really something that I really insist on at this point of my life. It also doesn't have to be a two-storied house, but it should have a garden with nice plants, and probably I would grow also fruits and vegetables. I definitely don't want to share my house with anyone else outside of myself, and if I have a partner, my partner, and if we have kids, then our kids. And I could say that I live in a comfortable financial situation right now, so I guess that became reality. I don't have a holiday house at the seaside or in the mountains, but this is something for the next 20 years to achieve, maybe. Also the house with the fireplace is something for the next 20 years to achieve. And my hobbies, as I already said, two of them, yes, I still have those hobbies, or I do have those hobbies. And shopping is definitely not my hobby. And that was it. That's the letter that I wrote to myself at 12 years old, and I just opened it exactly 20 years later. And this is so cool that I think I should write something like this for my maybe a little bit shorter time, maybe for my 42-year-old self, and then at 42 another 10 years. That would be cool. Yeah, we shall see if I will do that, but yeah, I think that's a cool idea. And actually, when I was 17, I was also writing down some, I mean, that was not really a letter to myself, it was just because I was preparing for a German language exam at that time, and we had certain topics that I wanted to prepare for. For the speaking part of the exam, there are always different topics, so one of the topics is like talk about yourself. And then I actually prepared all these topics, and I wrote down important things for each of these topics. And for talking about myself, I wrote down at 17 that I would like to become a sport manager, and I would like to live either in Austria, Sweden, or Switzerland. And when I reread this, more than 10 years after I wrote it originally, when I was decluttering my place back home in 2018, so that was 11 years after I wrote the letter, or yeah, around 11 years later, this whole paragraph that I wrote down was reality by then, because maybe it was actually in 2019 when I read it, because in 2019 I was going to move to Switzerland for my next job. And so I was reading this letter and I was like, and I would like to live in either Austria, Sweden, or Switzerland. And by that time, I already lived once in Austria before moving here in 2020. I already lived in Austria in 2014. I lived in Sweden. I did an Erasmus exchange there for 6 months. So I lived in Sweden for a while, and I lived in Switzerland for 10 months in 2019. Early 2020 I moved from there and then came here. So like this whole paragraph became reality, and this is such a, I mean, I do believe in law of attraction in a way, and I think it's important to have your goals set in your mind, and also maybe write them down. Maybe it's even more powerful to write them down, and I should actually write more actively about, you know, what are the things that I would like to achieve, and where do I see myself in the next years. And I think it's pretty powerful, and it's also very, very interesting to see how your life changes and evolves. Like compared to my 12-year-old self, I changed in many aspects. I changed a lot. Like I don't insist on having a husband and having children, but if it happens, because I find the love of my life with whom I am happy to have children, then it will happen. If not, then I still will be happy, because I am living a very full and interesting life actually, and I achieved a lot, focusing mostly on my career, but it's very important to do that, because if I want to achieve to be able to afford to buy a house in the future and a holiday home, then I need to work and earn a lot of money. So, you know, I'm already working towards that, and we'll see in 10, 20, 30 years if any of that becomes reality. Well, thank you for tagging along for this fun video. I hope you liked it, and maybe it has motivated you to write something for yourself in 10 or only 5, or maybe just like yourself in 1 year. That could also be something interesting, how much you can achieve in 1 year. Or you can just write down your wishes, your dreams, the things that you are striving towards, and basically every day you just have to get up with the mindset that you are doing something, even if it's a little tiny thing, but you're doing something every day for the things that you want to achieve. And I'm very happy to read this letter, because I feel like I didn't let my 12-year-old self down, only maybe in the finding a partner and having a child or children. So in that sense, I guess she would be disappointed to see that I am still a single person, but that's not just because of me, you know. It takes 2 people. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching one more time, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm looking forward to see you at my next video. Until then, goodbye.